Welcome, family. Welcome, Grand Rising, Joyous Rising, Happy Rising, Fabulous Rising, darlings, Wealthy Rising, Rich Rising. You are on the Dr. Kia Pruitt Show with none other than my good friend, John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr., the real living, breathing. Uh-oh. The real living, breathing legend and son of JFK, the former president of the United States of America. Sorry, you guys, if you heard an echo, that was another video, my other video previewing at the same time, but we had to click off that. Welcome. Today is Thursday, April the 10th, 2025, and the time is 6:07 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Welcome, John F. Kennedy Jr.
Oh, Kia, thank you so much for inviting me on your show today. It's always a pleasure. The first time I was on your show, I believe it was like a day or a couple of days after my son passed away. And I'm glad we became good friends with lots of love since then. You're wonderful. We all love you. We have a glitch. Where'd you go?
Sorry. Yeah, that was a glitch. I'm sorry. Thank you, John. Yeah, it was your son had passed. I want to say the day before you were supposed to come on the show, and
I had to do it. I really did.
Yeah.
You got such a wonderful audience, and my story needs to come out. And hopefully he'll be a part of history now with this documentary that just came out.
Yes.
And even my little dog Bandit that just passed away a couple of days ago.
Oh.
Yeah, they heard that he passed away, and they actually said, "Hey, let's put him in the movie." And I'm like, "Really?"
Wow.
So they changed the movie and they put my little dog Bandit in there.
Oh.
So my little dog Bandit is going to live forever in history.
Oh, that's good. I just want to tell you I appreciate and admire your courage coming out after all that has been done to you, and knowing that a lot of people don't believe the story. I really commend you for sharing your story. I am honored that you've been on a Dr. Kia Pruitt show several times. You've allowed me to review both of your books. The first one, Stolen Identity, Unveiling the Real John Kennedy Jr. And then you and Robin, Rockin' Robin, your companion, sent me this one, The Historian's Tale, The Amazing Return of President Kennedy's Son, written by both you and Mary Maxwell. And the books are just a phenomenal read, John. And I'm honored. You just don't know how. I just feel like the gods or God, the creator, must love me to allow me to meet you and Rockin' Robin. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Like I said, everybody loves you. And those books are a huge achievement. The cabal kept me in poverty. They didn't want my story out. I had been tortured and tortured. I could not write a book. I tried. I would sit down some nights and write pages, and then it was like, what do I do with all this scribble, and how am I going to put it together? And then Jackie Goldman came to me and she said, "I'll help you write a book." And I went, wow. And then when it was released, what was it? November of 23, it came out. I was like, they don't want one person to know what's in that book. Not one. And it's the biggest achievement of my life. It's huge. Now, if we can just get it in the hands of people all around the world.
I don't know if you can see that we're having a little bit of an internet problem. Just a little bit. Somebody said it's nice to see you smiling, John.
No. Yeah, you froze up for a minute there, Kia.
I haven't had an internet problem all day, John.
Welcome to my world, Kia. We are hindered and we are blocked. They don't want the story out. They do all this. You know, when I started sharing my story, that's when you heard about the Q movement come out. I think it was 2 weeks after I started sharing my story, the Q movement came out. And then you got Juan O'Salvin, and you had David Straight. He just passed away. but he had
Yes.
put, with the help of Trump Jr., he had put the fake John on the top of Mount Rushmore. It's just a big circus with these people, to try to discredit me, to make people think that George Onassis, the man that stole my identity at 10, that was placed by organized crime, because they're all organized crime. They do all this hindering, saying Elvis is coming back to life and my father never was killed. And it's just all a bunch of nonsense. When they say my father was still alive, and that's all discredited and debunked, but I never saw my father again. But my father was murdered by our very own government. People within our Secret Service, our CIA. Somebody just made a comment on your comments. George Bush did it. Well, it wasn't only George Bush. They have a secret society. It's called the Secret Service. And they are huge at what they do. It's not just one person. It's the whole, they have one boss that tells them what they all have to do. It's a secret society. So, it wasn't just George Bush. It was the whole cabal. And it's still going on to this day. It really is. It's huge. They don't want my story out. People say DNA, DNA, DNA.
They do.
I've tried it. I've spent thousands of dollars. I got DNA samples I just took on a video the other day right here. Somebody wants my DNA? Demand our government prove it, because they're the ones that have the blood samples of my father. They're all over my mother's dress. But why did they say, well, that dress can't be released for another 50 years? They are the cabal, and they are all guilty of crimes covering up the assassination of my father. The JFK files, bogus, people. The JFK files, in short, are a mafia war within our own government to take over our government. The mafia took out the entire Kennedy family and replaced them. They stole the power to run our country. And that's the JFK files. JFK files, they killed my mom. They replaced my mom. They replaced me. They replaced my sister. They killed my uncle. They killed my aunts. They replaced my cousins. That was the takeover right there. They're that powerful to take someone's life, plan on taking someone's life, and plan on a body double, a clone, going in their place. And then they have all the riches and all the power they want. And it goes all the way to Ted Kennedy and everybody else, Bobby, and even Donald Trump. I'm sorry, Key, I know you're a Donald Trump fan, but
no, I want the truth.
It is all about the truth. Your vote does not matter. Your vote has never mattered. By the time the cabal, the mafia, the syndicate, whatever you want to call them, they put these people in the Democratic Party. They put these people in the Republican Party. Our shadow government, they put these people in. So when you go to vote, oh, this guy's going to be our savior this time. Still a member of the cabal, still dirty as hell, still flying his jet plane, eating his caviar, drinking his champagne, while the homeless, the poverty, the suicide rates, it's still the drugs flowing over the border. It's all going on, and they're still getting rich off all that. They don't want to stop it because they're making too much money on it.
So to be clear, JFK Jr., you were a small child when your dad was unalived or killed, murdered. That's the truth. He was murdered. But for certainty he was murdered by the people in power, yes?
Yes, it was mafia war is what it was.
Okay.
And the way at the top works, they're so powerful. If my father would have been poisoned in his bed, they would have replaced him with a clone, with a body double. So they would have still kept the power of my father that my father had as president. So he was deliberately killed on film in the public's eye.
That's
so
crazy.
He could not come back. They're that powerful. Some people don't understand how powerful our government, our three-letter agencies are. They're huge, powerful. The tools of war, the weapons of war they have that they use on their own people to stay in power is crazy. It really is crazy. And I have seen a lot of people unalived and a lot of this war myself. So it's not like just, oh, I heard this on the internet, so I believe it. I'm going to repeat it. No, this is eyewitness accounts.
So they unalived your dad, and then they took your mom, and you were hidden out with Secret Service. No, not Secret Service. What do you call it? Witness protection. What do you call that? Was it Secret
Well,
Service?
I call it people within our government that used me for extortion, kidnapping, that kind of thing against the Kennedy. I was like their ace in the hole type card. It's hard for me to know what actually they were doing because I was the victim in all that. They took a picture of me in a dog cage and used that for extortion with Aristotle Onassis. A lot of heinous crimes they did, from trying to poison me and having sex acts and taking pictures and all this crazy stuff that they do. But they're powerful. They're untouchable until now because we're sharing a story, and hopefully they're going to have to find some rocks to crawl under and hide after this story comes out.
So you were hidden, but you were hidden, and you were supposed to be protected. But the people that protect you they're still a part of the same crime family and mafia that controls the world. So
right.
You were
double agents or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So I didn't know who the bad. I was being tortured from the good guys, and I was being tortured from the bad guys. I didn't know the difference. Maybe they did that on purpose. Just, I wasn't allowed to use people's names. So like if you walked in the room, I wasn't allowed to say, well, hello, Dr. Kia, because the surveillance is so big. I would have to say, hello, sister. And then they wouldn't know through a microphone who you were, who just walked in. There was a lot of things like that was being done.
Right quick, somebody asked me if I have your Cash App correct. Can you read that for me? Because I think I might have put quite instead of quiet. Can you or Robin put it in
quiet. It's QUIET.
Okay.
I didn't even notice that myself.
Okay, thank you, Soul Family. Somebody asked me, okay, it's $QUIET Journey.
Yeah.
Journey. Is there a one after it? Nope, just quiet journey. $1 quiet journey or
$sign one quiet journey. Okay. I changed it the other day because my old one was Poor Boy, and people said that's a jinx. You can't be Poor Boy John anymore because you're going to be rich and Daddy's going to bless you. So change it, and I changed it to One Quiet Journey.
So glad you did. I'm gonna change that here. Hold on. So family, if you are interested in supporting my brother, the real John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr., and you want to send him some love for all he's been through and for his courage coming out, please send him a Cash App. He will be so grateful to $Quiet Journey. No, $1 Quiet Journey. And if Rockin' Robin is in the chat, maybe she can correct me if that's improper or put anything in there that she would like for us to acknowledge.
Did you hear that, Robin?
Yeah, anything you want us to acknowledge, Robin, please just let me know in the chat, or you can come on the screen. We'll be happy to have you.
Where is it, Web? You had it wrote down.
In one of the comments, it says, I thought Wayne was your protector, as you stated in your book. Well, he was. He kept me alive, but he also had me beat and had me do sex acts and some crazy, crazy things. Wayne was a very powerful man, and you didn't lip off to Wayne or you were not alive anymore. But yeah, and you got to remember with MK Ultra, people, it's the most powerful weapon of war there is concerning mind control and the ability to get individuals to do what they want you to do. It's a huge weapon. It really, really is. I can't, if you don't know what MK Ultra is, check it out because it's a weapon of war. You can get spy versus spy. You can send a spy out under MK Ultra and come back and tell you everything, and they don't even know what they just did. It's a huge, huge tool. But yeah, Wayne protected me, but I'm still scared to death of Wayne. I really am. It's one of those things, you know, when you're sitting there with the most powerful man in the world, people like that tell Donald Trump what to do, that tell Bill Clinton what to do and how to do it, that tell Barack Obama. For instance, me and Wayne, we were at a convention and Barack Obama was there. And Wayne said, "What do you think if we made that man president of the United States?" And I said, "I like him. I think that would work." And guess what? He became president. That's how powerful Wayne is. Like I said, organized crime places these people in power before you even go vote. If I would have bet money on that Barack Obama was going to be president after what Wayne said, I would have made a lot of money.
So Wayne was kind of like your handler, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Managing.
And what I was going to say about MK Ultra is they can program you where you think it's Wayne, but Wayne can have one of his soldiers come and pick you up at the house, and you're under, you know, hypnosis is a powerful tool. So if you're under hypnosis, you can say, "This man over here is Marilyn Monroe. Go give him a kiss. Go give her a kiss." And that person under hypnosis will go give some grizzly bearded man a kiss, thinking that is Marilyn Monroe. That's hypnosis. MK Ultra is 100 times more powerful than that. So they can tell you while you're under MK Ultra, "This is Marilyn Monroe. That's a grizzly bear. That's Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck." And you believe it. You see it in your mind because you're already programmed to see a big man that's unshaven looking just like the beautiful Marilyn Monroe. It's that huge of a tool. It really is. And I was put under it so many times. It's crazy. And I always tried to fight it. And I consider myself an expert on it, but I can never fight it. I can never find the tool. When you've seen enough, you will wake up out of that state. I saw a man being tortured in a 55-gallon drum, and I was fighting. I was screaming to try to save that man's life while these Secret Service agents were drowning this man, and I woke up out of my state. It was like, "Pop, you're out of MK Ultra." So what did they do? They sat me down and they put bamboo under my fingernails. And that was very, very painful. It's crazy what these people will do.
So you were under MK Ultra, you were under these people, and at one point your mom married Aristotle Onassis, and you recall in the book really sound like you were fond of your stepfather.
Well, he had body doubles. I believe they were already planning on killing him and replacing him, because I believe there was 3 Aristotle Onassis. One was mean, one was nice. That's our secrets. They're that powerful. My mother had a body double, and I knew my mother's body double. I knew they were giving her plastic surgery, dental work to make her look just like my mom. That's the only thing is I was a child. I was probably 13 years old, 12, when I knew they were making a new mom for me. The only thing is I wasn't old enough. I didn't have enough experience to say they're doing this because they're going to kill my real mother and put her in her place to steal all the Kennedy fortune. I wish I knew that now. I really did, but I didn't. I was too young. So, yeah, I'm 64 years old now. I got a lot of knowledge on how they work. I've seen it. It's not like I heard it on the internet and I'm just believing it.
You've seen it.
It's coming right from the source. My mother, my sister, the Kennedy family, no Kennedy curse. It's called a mafia takeover. It's called the JFK files, a war. The Quiet Journey .tv. There's a video at the very top of that webpage. If you go there, listen to my father's words very, very carefully, because he's telling you there's a secret war going on to steal people's identity, to hide things from the people.
Can we show it now, or you want me to show it later?
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
Okay. Family, here it is.
It's long. You might want to just show some clips, but yeah, it's awesome.
Okay. Just show a couple clips.
My father's words at the beginning, if you look listen. And to anybody that's not familiar, please go to this website. If you don't wake up after this to my story and why, what was done, and how it was done, I can't help you, because this is the best documentary. I wish I could say that, documentary. But it's wonderful. And some wonderful people did good.
So we're just going to show a few clips, but we do want to show the exclusive preview of the movie that's coming out featuring you. When you tell us, when you give me the
this is the 1 hour, 1 minute, and 11-second documentary right here.
Oh, this is the documentary. Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. So before I show the should I show this? I want to show the preview too. Which one should I show first? This?
Show the preview first.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you could always skip at 3 minutes, I think, because the preview is 3 minutes. But
okay. Family, you are watching it live. The preview, the exclusive preview of the movie The Quiet Journey, featuring John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr., sharing his story and letting us know what happened to him and his dad. So let me see if I can get this up here for you. Here it is.
And this is huge, people. This is huge. And I'm praying to God that it goes viral. I'm praying that you share it to the world. It's that important to us all. And I appreciate you for doing this.
You're welcome.
Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain?
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed.
I would have to say,
we're going to bring you up, but that was a very important speech by your dad that you wanted us to hear, how he talked about secret societies running the world. Yes.
In the media. He was basically saying, this is what's happening. And we're witness to that right now. My story, year after year, being suppressed, hundreds of emails sent to all the news. Hey, I'm the real John Kennedy Jr. Why aren't you bringing this out to the world? Me calling the FBI and our Secret Service and every other thing saying, how come you're not helping me? How come you're not bringing this out? I was kidnapped. I was replaced. My father was the president of the United States and my family members were killed. And they're not doing anything. And that speech right there that my father did was explaining it all. This is what's going on. And like he said, no members of, either high or low, above him or below him, or should be doing that. And they took his life.
Thank you, John. And now here you are entering in this preview, and you're going to share a little bit. So family, listen up, get your water if you got water, glass of wine or whatever, and hear John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr. give his speech or his spiel in this documentary.
I would have to say memories of my father, fond memories of my father, is when he taught me how to swim, just throwing me in the pool. Or actually, I believe it was one of my uncles throwing me into the pool to my father and learning how to swim. My father taught me how to drink a Coca-Cola. I know it was for a photo op for Coca-Cola, but I still remember him teaching me how to drink out of a bottle because I put my mouth all the way around the Coke bottle like it was a nipple. And he was like, no, you put your lips on the edge of it. And he taught me how to drink a Coke. And, I was probably 2.5, maybe almost 3 at that time. But, it's him teaching me little things like that. I still remember, still have good memories about that. My name is John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr. My father was the president of the United States of America. My father was assassinated for the whole world to see.
You say your father was assassinated for the whole world to see. Were they trying to send a message? What was the purpose, John? Do you know?
Yeah, it's just like my uncle was also killed for the whole world to see. They do that, like I was saying earlier, so they could not bring him back. It's like my mom was also killed, my sister, and all these other family members were also killed, but they didn't do it in the spotlight. My father was the president of the United States. So if they secretly killed my father, they would have put a body double in his place and he still would have been president. The cabal still would have been in power, but they wanted to make sure he was dead that day. And when he was dead, the vice president immediately became president. When that happened, the cabal immediately took over family. And then down the road, they killed my uncle. They secretly killed my other family members, and they replaced it using identity theft. Our Secret Service, and they're so powerful, working with Hollywood and doctors and dentists. They have all these people in their pocket to make something look just like that person. And that's what they do. And that's how organized crime makes all their big billions, if not trillions of dollars. They say identity theft happens every 3 seconds. Every 3 seconds, somebody's getting hit up, getting stolen from by identity theft. But it goes all the way up to unaliving people, stealing. When I was in the hospital, I was lying there, and my possessions didn't mean nothing to me because they were like, you're probably going to die. And I was like, okay. I wasn't worried about my possessions and not being able to take what little I had anyway. But it makes you think about, once you're gone and they replace you, that's everything you got. And it automatically goes into the cabal's hands. Your bank, your assets, everything. They steal it all. And they've been doing that. They did it with the, no Kennedy curse. They did that to the Kennedy family. That's the files. That's the real files. Why they killed my father, why they killed my uncle, why they killed the rest of my family so they could steal the power of government. So they could, my father was a billionaire. I've had people research how much money my father actually had being president. He was a billionaire. My mother then remarried another billionaire. And they secretly, I believe, killed him and replaced him, also using this identity theft. So when they replaced my mom and my sister and myself, they actually laundered billions of dollars to the mafia.
And then they replaced you with whom exactly?
George Onassis.
Okay.
My stepfather, Aristotle Onassis, had a mistress, Maria Callas. I knew her, I met her, but anyway, she had a child in secret. Billionaires don't tell you everything because organized crime is so huge at the top. Kidnapping is huge at the top. When they go after your assets, when you're a billionaire, they go after your family, your loved ones, to get you to do what you need to do. If you don't pay somebody up, they're going to come after your family. There was several times I was kidnapped for extortion, for payment. It's huge. It really is. It's a crime ring. It's a one big crime ring.
Maria Callas was an opera singer. She was the mistress of your stepdad, Aristotle, that he had this mistress while he was with your mom, correct?
Yeah, I even got on the boat one day, and Aristotle and her were at the dinner table, and I had just got on the yacht, and they were like, "Go to your room," but my mother was nowhere around, and I was like, "Okay." But that's the kind of society these billionaires live. I mean, they would have people come over, movie stars, and it would be orgies, sex parties, things like that.
Now, when you look at George Onassis, the guy that replaced you and pretended to be JFK Jr., he actually has dark hair and dark eyes like his mom, and like Aristotle, he looks Greek. He doesn't look anything like the you when you were a child.
Yeah, no, it was totally planned out what they did. Our Secret Service crime ring within our government planned it all. They pre-planned murders. They pre-planned identity theft. They put him in power, in place, because they already had him. They had him commit a murder at a very young age. And once he committed that murder for organized crime, for the syndicate, for the mafia, whatever you want to call it, they had him by the nuts. And I really understood where he was coming from at a young age, him stealing my identity like that. But it's when he got older and then wanted to have me killed, that's when I changed my mind about the guy, and have no remorse for what happened. And he wanted to be the next mafia don. He had no problem taking lives for money, and that's why I believe he killed the fake Jackie Kennedy with poison. They called it cancer. They love poison, and then they love calling, after you've been poisoned, stomach cancer. David Strait just died of, I believe, stomach cancer. My mother, Jackie Kennedy, the fake one, died of stomach cancer. When you poison somebody and that poison works on their stomach, it all turns black. The doctors say that's cancer. But they love poison. They really do.
They do. And it's, I mean, they can just lie, and what are we going to do? We can't prove that they're right or wrong. John, somebody's in the chat. Margie is saying, "Hi, Mary Maxwell. Can you tell us? You see her? Where's Mary?
Yeah, hi, Mary.
Hi, Mary. I just learned a new phrase from Greg Pulgrain: muscular fascism. Mary Maxwell is the co-author of John's second book. Welcome, Mary. It's such an honor to have you in the chat. Family, please welcome Mary and tell her that you appreciate her, because she did this. She went to Arizona, met with John after she read his first book, heard his story, and she co-wrote this book called The Historian's Tale: The Amazing Return of President Kennedy's Son. Welcome, sister. We're so honored to have you here.
Yeah, she's a wonderful lady.
John, so you are the real JFK Jr., but this guy, George, who was the son of Maria and Aristotle Onassis, the billionaire that had married your mom, this son grew up alongside you, right? You guys knew each other, correct?
Yeah, we didn't actually grow up. He went to school with me, and the cabal had me meet him a few times.
Okay.
But what you need to remember with him is my mother married Aristotle Onassis. Aristotle Onassis was a mafia don. I believe he might have been the big boy mafia boss. He was a Greek billionaire. I myself had no blood of Aristotle.
Mm-hmm.
George, that stole my identity, had his blood. That's where the phrase blood in, blood out comes from. That's exactly where it comes from. I'm the blood out. He's the blood in. He just earned his life of riches and millions and could basically do whatever he wanted to do. And that's how they do it. Blood in, blood out. And I don't know if somebody told them I was dead, or if they're the ones that actually killed Aristotle for doing that. I really don't know. But it's a mafia war. They do crazy things at the top. It gets real crazy. You don't know who's killing who and what and why. And then you got their code of silence. It's really hard to find out information. And I know quite a bit because I lived it. I was actually there and seen a lot of it myself. And, under MK Ultra, I was put in a lot of situations, even in my book, where I was locked in a bathroom and told, hey, you got to cut up this body or you're not coming out. A lot of things like that.
John, I can't even imagine going through that type of trauma and being able to tell your story, without losing it, because every time you tell your story, you relive it. You relive the trauma.
I've told it thousands of times. That's why this documentary is so great. I can just send people to quietjourney.tv. They can hear my story. I don't have to repeat it.
That's right.
But yeah, when I was younger, I was going freaking nuts trying to figure out, I was standing out in front of my house, working in the yard, and I had a bullet graze my cheek. It was from a sniper, and they were way off in the distance. I didn't know who did it. I didn't know why they did it or anything except a bullet went by my cheek. So I was going crazy right there. Who did it? Who did it? Who did it? I got to find out who did it. I finally think I found out who did it. I wasn't advertising, but I think I found out who did it. So
I'm here, John. I'm just turning my mic off so you can speak and turn my camera off. But I'm here.
Yeah. So there's a lot of mental. I was in my truck, and I had a crazy life from job to job to job, trying to stay alive. I'd get a job in Oklahoma. I'd get a job in Nebraska. I'd get a job in California. And I was constantly on the move. I lived out of a duffel bag for like 35 years, trying to stay alive, so the attempts on my life, didn't come real, basically, or happen, or however you want to word that. So I was unalive. But I got a good example. If you've seen Richard Kimball, The Fugitive, the TV show or the movie, The Fugitive, he had to live his life on the run from place to place to place. That's what I had to do to survive. So I could share this story to this day. It's crazy. And I finally made up my mind a few years ago. Hey, the story is more important than my life, of what they do, how they do it, and how they get away with it so they can enslave us all. And they're doing it to this very day. The cabal is in charge, not us. Your vote doesn't matter. We have no say. It's all about the rich, the wealthy, the billionaires. It's the same way Russia is. We started when Russia attacked Ukraine. We started taking all of the Russians' billionaires' yachts and all this stuff, seizing everything. Well, that's the same thing that's going on. It's the Donald Trumps. It's the Elon Musk. It's all these people with all their billions of dollars doing the same thing to us. We're just not awake to it. You got Bill Gates and all these people. I helped Bill Gates. Bill Gates got his money from stealing secrets from our very own government. He was a nobody. And he made, it was all gifted to him by the cabal. So now they can tell, the organized crime, they put their money in all these people. If you're an actor, if you're a musician, they put all their money into you. So it's harder to find. But if they want something, they say, pay up. And if they don't pay up, they are unalive. It's that hardcore. So they pay up.
So you mentioned Donald Trump. Now, Everybody that knows me know that I support the Trump character, the Trump avatar, the Trump movement. But John, I always say I want the truth. And that's why I always bring you on, because I love you so much and I trust your story. I trust your truth. I trust what you say as the truth. Can you please tell us, first of all, is Donald Trump indeed related to you? And secondly, what happened to the real Donald Trump?
And Kia, thank you so much for letting me have a voice on your show. But yes, Donald Trump was my cousin.
Okay.
Donald Trump was my loved one.
Okay.
I knew Donald Trump. I met with him a few times when I was younger. I was told Donald Trump was my family. Donald Trump was everything. I was at a party with Donald Trump. And I told him, I'm jealous of you, man. How do you get all the women? Donald Trump was at a party and he had 2 women on each arm.
Okay.
I'm like, man, how do you do it? You know what he said? He said, I get so much woman.
PUSS.
I want to be gay. That's what he said. He said, I want to be gay because I have a woman hanging off my arm all the time. He told me that. And I was like, well, you do what you want. This is your trip. But I'm still jealous that you got a woman hanging off your arm. But he also told me that he was learning to fly a helicopter.
Okay.
He wanted to be able to fly, just like me. I won't not fly anymore. I've been in so many plane crashes and attempts on my life. God's kept me alive, but I won't fly. People are always trying to fly back east, fly to Florida, do this, do that, come to Boston. Sorry, I don't fly. I got 9 lives and they're all used up. You know, they love plane crashes. They do. That's one way they get rid of these people they don't like, is get them on a plane, crash the plane up, accident. Just like, you know, my stepbrother, when he was killed on that plane right in front of me, I was 13 years old. He died in my arms. I got lots of stories about plane crashes and none of them are any good. And so Donald Trump told me he was learning to fly his own helicopter. Well, when I was in New Jersey, they brought me to New Jersey and they took out all Donald Trump's mob bosses. Donald Trump was a gangster. He was the cabal. He was, you know, that's how it is at the top. So when his helicopter crashed on the New Jersey Parkway, they had me there. Why? Because it was pre-planned. They were taking it. Donald Trump must have pissed somebody off.
In 1989, correct?
1989. He must have pissed somebody off. They wanted to take over, or maybe they were just wanting to take over everybody because he was my family members. They already killed my father, my uncle, my loved ones. Maybe they were just going down the line to the cousins now. I really don't know. But they had me in Atlantic City. They brought me to the crash site. And I saw them pull Donald Trump's body from the seat where the pilot was. I couldn't actually touch his face and make sure it wasn't a rubber mask or anything. But the man that they took out from the front of that helicopter was Donald Trump. They used identity theft, just like they stole my identity and placed George blood in, blood out. So the minute that helicopter crashed, the minute it crashed and killed Donald Trump, somebody made billions of dollars. Somebody made billions and billions. They automatically had a replacement. They automatically had a Hollywood actor that looked just like Donald Trump. Boom, they're millionaires. And that's just one instance. And that's the way they work. I'm explaining that's the way they work. That's why they killed my family members. That's why all the attempts on my life. That's why I sit here with a gun in my lap going,
I don't blame you.
You know, it's huge. But this story must get out. If you're watching this video right now and you don't, please spend an hour and 1 minute and 11 seconds. Go to thequietjourney.tv and watch the video. Then if you don't believe, that's great. But it is that important. The story of mine is so important that we don't fall as America.
I'm trying to find this article by Benjamin Fulford. Benjamin Fulford is a journalist out of Japan who used to write for him. He was the editor for Forbes Japan. He used to cover geopolitical and financial news back in the 80s and 90s. He covered a lot of stories that people call conspiracy theories. But I sent you an article that Benjamin Forford said. It was in the article and a video where he said himself that the real Donald Trump died in a plane crash or a helicopter crash in 1989. And I sent
that even made the news. There was some news people out there that said Donald Trump just died in his helicopter, but they covered it up immediately. But pop, here comes the fake Donald Trump, the Hollywood actor. He had to have the Secret Service there with him, coaching him. You got to remember, when a body double is put in place, they don't know who this person is or who that person is. So they need the Secret Service there saying, this is so-and-so, and that's so-and-so. They need to be relay the messages back and forth. When my mother was killed and replaced, my mother was killed later, 74, 75, but my mom was murdered. I was right there when she was murdered. Now, after they put her replacement in, she had friends. She would write letters to all the time. Dear so-and-so, thank you for this gift. Or that stopped after because the fake one didn't know who her friends were anymore. She didn't know who to, and I was contacted. This was like a month ago. I was contacted by a gal that said my mother knew something wasn't right because Jackie, my mother, was writing her all the time. And then that all stopped. And I'm like, of course it stopped. My mother was killed. And a replacement was put in her place. And her mother, even when she would see my mom come on TV or something, she would say, that's not my Jackie. That's not my friend Jackie. But you can't speak up because, back then, if you spoke up, you were killed. My next door neighbor, when I was placed with the Quigleys, my next door neighbor had me over for dinner, and the wife of my friend, I'm not the wife of the mother of my friend that had me over for dinner, said, "You're not a Quigley," and I was a little kid. She was like trying to figure out why I was placed with the Quigley family, but by what I remember, good things did not come, because I went back to the Quigleys, my big mouth. I was just a little kid, 10 years old. And I was like, Mom, I went over to their house and ate. And they said I'm not a Quigley. But I think bad things happened to that family. Just, they changed my age by 6 years. The Quigley family did. So I didn't have a birthday for 6 years. They didn't want me to remember, it's your birthday with all the drugs they were giving me and MK Ultra and all this other crazy stuff. But I went to the dentist to have some dentist work done. And even the dentist was like, you're not this age. You're way older.
Oh, wow.
And then the Quigleys found out, had to tell the Secret Service that the dentist is on to it. And I don't know, maybe they had a talk with the dentist. Maybe they just unalived the dentist.
Probably was unalived, yeah.
Yeah. So anybody that knew my story or knew who I was usually silenced. It was that big of a deal to keep me alive, or just so my story didn't get out, because it's all about money and power with these people.
But what about the family members? Like somebody here, Marlon, or is that Marlon or Marion, says Trump's kids must have known this, wouldn't you think? Like, because they think these kids that are saying they're Trump's kids would tell us if the real Trump was unalive. And same with Robert Kennedy and all these guys that are saying they're Kennedys. People are like, why don't they tell your story? Can you?
Well, a lot of the kids are messed up like me. You just go with the program. When you're up in the cabal like that, you're usually, panda-eyed and tortured. At least I was. But like when my mother was replaced, I couldn't tell the difference. Usually when you're a child, you don't come up and kiss your mother right on the lips, and like, hey, that freckle's not there. What happened to your freckle?
Right.
They are this good at identity theft. I had a girlfriend, and we had a relationship. I was a teenager. I didn't see her for 3 or 4 years. All of a sudden, I'm riding my motorcycle down the street. A car pulls up to me. It's her.
Mm-hmm.
She said, "Hey, pull over." I pulled over. We talked. She said, "Come over to my house and let's get, catch up on all the old stuff." I said, "Okay." So I went over to her house. We had sex.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't the same girl.
Mm.
She was pretending to be my old girlfriend, but when her clothes were off, I was like, it's not the same woman.
That's crazy.
But she looked that identical. But the only way I could tell was actually jumping into bed and saying, "You're not the same girl."
Mm.
But they are that good, even to the mole that was on her face. They're that good.
You even told a story about
the best of what they do. They are the best at deception. They are the best at deceiving people. That's their job. And if they can't get away with it, if they'll unalive you. They have no remorse for,
John, one of the things I really appreciate, I love the first book because the first book gives us a detailed narrative of who you are, what your life was like growing up, all of your experiences through MK Ultra. It talks about a lot of the entertainers that go through some of the same things. And you just mentioned that things about Donald Trump, and you mentioned about how evil the cabal is. But one of the things that was lurking in the back of my mind when I read the first book, Stolen Identity, was if your brother, your body double, your stepbrother was killed in a plane crash and you were in that plane crash with them, how did you survive? You answer it in the second book. Oh my God. I was so happy that you actually, you didn't leave us hanging.
Mary Maxwell actually flew here from, I'm on the West Coast basically, and she flew here from the East Coast, and she wanted to prove me wrong. We spent a few days here. She interviewed me. She wanted to prove me wrong. And after she was done, she's like, you're who you say you are. I know you are. And I know I am too. The story is this big. It must get out.
So the way you talk about surviving, and I'll leave some of it to the imagination, but you explain what you did to survive, and then you remind us that you were militarily trained. So you knew how to sense that a crash was coming, how to protect yourself, and you knew how to save yourself. Even in a cold water, you knew how to swim, although you were passing in and out, out of consciousness. But your military training, I think Navy and Army military training, maybe even Marine training, enabled you to escape. And it was just beautiful the way you detailed how you escaped and how you remembered that training and was able to save your life. Thank you so much.
They had given me so much military training, I wanted to kill myself. It was repetitive, nonstop, boot camp after boot camp. I was sitting in the mud one time, and I put a revolver up to my head and I pulled the trigger. And whether it was Wayne or not, took the gun, and it had a blank in it. He had put a blank in it because he already knew he was putting me through so much torture and bullshit. He said, "Don't ever do that again." Not only did it make my ear ring, but he said, "You're doing this for your family, for your loved ones. Remember that." So all that training, I don't, it did help keep me alive. But what was the main principle of it all? I think they might have been trying to build me up the ladder to become president someday. I really don't know, but things fell apart. We were at war, and the Kennedy family lost. At least we didn't totally lose the war, because I'm here to share the story right now to this day. But yeah, a lot of intense training, crazy training. When I was a young child, they sent me to Vietnam. I believe I was 8 or 9 years old. They said that would be the safest, with all the mafia and all the syndicate people wanting me dead. The safest place I could be is a war zone. And I do believe I was with Sam Walton's son, John. He's the one that had the leather straps in his pack, that gave me a leather strap to put all the ears on that I had been cutting off our enemies on this strap. if you look up Sam Walton and see Sam Walton started Sam's Club, which is Walmart now, and then you got Hillary Clinton. So it all goes down to the a picture will tell you 1,000 words. If you know, and that's how big my story is, or should be. If you know that John Kennedy Jr., the world knew was a fake, was a fraud that replaced me. Then you look at all the people he is with. He is with Bobby Kennedy. He is with Donald Trump. Donald Trump's whispering in his ear. He's whispering in Donald Trump's ear. Why? Because it's all the cabal, secret society. So you got, who do you got? Epstein, right? You got Epstein. You got Maxwell. You got all these people sitting with John, the man that stole my identity, sitting with Donald Trump, with Bobby Kennedy. A picture will tell you 1,000 words, and they are the cabal. But through pictures, they're showing you, they're telling you, hey, we're all the same crime families. You got Bill Clinton and my fake mom sitting there like they're kissing each other. A picture will tell you they're all cabal, not just one or two, the whole ball of wax. They killed my loved ones. They became our government. They're keeping us in chains. Y'all want to know why we're having so many problems? Because criminals are running the show. That's the Kennedy files, to take over the United States government by criminal organization.
John, you say you're going to release the real JFK files that they don't want us to know. How will you release it, or has it already been released?
I just did. That's my story. The assassination of my father, my uncle, my mother, my sister. That's all still being covered up. I'm being covered up.
Yeah, because why won't they sue you?
I'm exposing because they don't want me in a court of law. I'm suing them now.
You're suing, and you have sued them over the death of your mom, and you used your real name.
Yeah, that's the first one, but we're going to go forward.
Okay.
And Mary Maxwell put out a news press conference for that lawsuit, and they're keeping it quiet. Our news media is still keeping it quiet. Why? Because it's all the cabal. A great example is Sean Hannity of Fox News.
Yes.
I went to school with him. He was friends with George Onassis, John, the man that stole my identity. He knew him. They're like, hey kid, we're gonna make you millions and millions of dollars. We're gonna put you in Fox News. You just share how good Trump is, and you'll make millions of dollars. You'll have the mansions. But when John Kennedy's story comes out, shh, quiet.
Somebody asked, what about Barron? Who is he? Is that Donald Trump's son? Do you know?
Yeah. And they switch family members around. They really do. The cabal, when a woman has a child, they usually put it with another family. The Secret Service, that cabal is so huge, they can do whatever they want, but they don't advertise. They don't say this happened or that. They're lying to you about who's who and what's what, and all they care about is their money, their power, and what they do. But I got my own problems about worrying and who's Barron and all this other stuff. I feel sorry for them all. My father became president of the United States. My father was a family man, and he lost his life. He lost his loved ones. They lost their lives because he became president of the United States to help us. And I'm sharing, hey, they didn't stop killing. They didn't stop. And
sorry about that. It's my phone. Excuse me. Speaking of your dad said, and I'm reading the back of your book, Stolen Identity. Your dad said, let's see, where is that? There's a plot. Where's the part where he said there's a plot? Oh, it's inside the book, not on the outside. I love it. He says, there's a plot in this country to enslave every man, woman, and child. Before I leave this high and noble office, I intend to expose this plot. J.F. Kennedy. And that is why he was taken out.
And that's just like the speech at the beginning of the documentary, the little movie there, where he says, the secret societies, the invasion of the United States isn't coming by troops. It's coming from within. the secrets within, the takeover of our media, so they don't share the real stories of what's really going on, keeping the secrets from the people that are actually this country is made for. And he's trying to tell everybody that in his speech. And it's actually what happened, the takeover of the United States by these people that are running the show to this day, keeping us enslaved.
I showed the movie preview. Did you want me to show any clips from the actual movie, or just put do you may just put the link in the chat?
Yeah, that would be great. However you want to do it, Kia. This is your show. I love the ending of the movie because it's got my little dog in there. And,
okay.
Yeah, it's got my son. The ending really shows, what I've had to go through to try to get this truth out to the world. But I really hope this goes viral. Some people, spent a lot of hard work and time.
Lots of money too, right?
And lots of money to make this happen. And, we're the little guy. We're David. They're Goliath. They own the media. They're suppressing it. So this is huge. This is huge. If we can get a share from everybody that sees this and get it viral, then we're making headway. So it's got to happen. They could take this down anytime if they want to. So we need the shares. We need to wake up as many. I wrote the quietjourney.tv on pieces of paper and was laying them in the post office the other day so people can see it. Any way you can help me get this out, people. It means that much, not just for me, for justice for my loved ones, but for everybody in America that's slave to our government.
With your permission, I'll go ahead, John, and show some of the.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see. I don't know how far to go.
Services in on it all. So I hope we can.
Is this a good place, or should you want me to go further? Closer to the end, or where you want me to do, John?
That's up to you. It's an hour and 1 minute long, and you're at 47 minutes there. But
okay,
yeah, if you want to go the last 10 minutes, that's cool. That's
okay. Great. Last 10 minutes. 57. Let's go to 50. Thank you, family, for joining us. We appreciate you joining the chat and asking your questions. Okay, we're going to show the last 10 minutes of the movie, The Quiet Journey. You can find this movie at thequietjourney.tv. And if you desire to support John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr., you can purchase his books, and I'll bring that link up for you in a little bit. I believe it is, let's see where his books are. TheRealJohnFKennedyJr.com. Here, I'll go ahead and put that in the chat for you if you want to support his.
And you can also go there, and there's a link to the books there, and there's a link to this wonderful pendant that I'm wearing there in the film. It's a great help to the cause. I've been with every purchase of the pendant. I've been trying to sign an autograph book to send with it. It just depends how many books I got left at the time.
Someone asked, is this the real John JFK Jr.? Yes, it is. It actually is. Thank you so much for asking, MJ. We've interviewed him several times. We've read his books and we've reviewed his books. Mary Maxwell, who's in the chat, actually went up to Arizona trying to prove, she was determined to prove John wrong, but she met with him because she had already done her research. And when she met with him and she looked at his stories and what his narrative and his writings compared to what she researched, and she said, oh my God, you are the real John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr. And she co-authored this book with him as a result. The book is called The Historian's Tale, The Amazing Return of President Kennedy's Son. So thank you so much for that question. That was a beautiful question. Sometimes you just want to know, is this the real deal or not?
Yeah. All the pictures, all the videos, all the thousands of document pictures of me up to the age of 10 are of me. People say, well, you don't look like JFK. Well, I don't look like the JFK that you knew because I was kidnapped and our Secret Service replaced him with me so they could steal the Kennedy fortunes. That's why I don't look like the one that was all over Pretty Boy. Most Beautiful American Award and all this.
Right.
George Magazine, people. His real name was George. But yeah, I was kidnapped and replaced. I shouldn't look nothing like the guy because, I'm the victim and he's the one that stole everything to launder the money to organized crime.
Darlene says, don't worry, John. Your documentary was sent to the White House. Thank you so much, Darlene Richardson. Thank you. Okay, let's look at the last 10 minutes of this. I'm curious. I haven't seen the movie. I'd only seen the preview. So I'm excited to watch the last few minutes. Join us, family. We're watching The Quiet Journey at thequietjourney.tv. And if you're interested in supporting John, go to the real John F. Kennedy Jr. and get his books or his penchant, or you can send him a Cash App blessing to $1 Quiet Journey. That's $1 Quiet Journey. Enjoy the last few minutes of this movie. I'm going to mute my mic just so we can hear this clearly.
An AC/DC song on the radio, and I was like, I don't care. I got to get my story out, Brenda. She was like my friend at the time, so I got it all off my chest of, hey, I'm John Kennedy. The world needs to know. I was in really, really bad health, a lot of pain. I didn't think at the time, it was like, I thought my story would just blow up because I was contacting all the media. They're probably going to take my life before my story gets out too far. But I wanted it out because I basically made up my mind when I was ill. I figured my life didn't matter compared to the story. The story was bigger than my life itself. And I think that was, well, I'm guessing about 9 years now. It's still been a struggle every day, doing videos, sharing, trying to get this story out because I'm little David and they're Goliath, and they run the country. They run our mainstream media. They run the internet. They run everything. I would get on to make a video on like Facebook, and I wouldn't have any viewers. Nobody was seeing them. Nobody was watching them. I even paid Facebook to advertise, and then come to find out they took my money, but they didn't advertise it to no one. I was just being totally hindered. One lady came to me, and her name was Jackie Goldman, and she said, I'll help you write a book. And I was thrilled because the torture, it wouldn't allow me to put anything down that I could even read. For years, for 20 years, I wanted to share my story. I would try to put it in book form because I can't spell it out in my head. I get too frustrated, too confused. So I started putting it on video cassette. This was like 25, 30 years now. Then those videos, those voice recordings, I should say, disappeared. And then I was like, oh, they took them. They're going to kill me now. They know what I was doing. So I tried to get the story out for a very long time in my mind, mentally, and being prepared. But finally, this gal, Jackie, came to me and said, I'll help you. And I was like, I was so thrilled just to be able to get it out. So we spent a few months video chatting. She looked at all my videos from Facebook, put the story together. She had questions. We would video chat. She got it in book form. So it's been out a little over a year. I wish it would. I pray that it would do a lot better, but it's like everything else, being hindered. If you put yourself in my position, I'm the son of a president. I'm trying to say, this is the problems we have. And it's not going as fast as I expected. Instead of having a few thousand views on the internet, it should be millions of views. I am gaining a lot of followers. A lot of people have heard my story, believe my story. I have seen more love. I did not know there was so much love in this world because I had lived such a terrible life of tragedy and sadness. It hasn't taken off as fast as I would like, but the people supporting me, the people sharing, the people making videos, giving my book to the library, it really affects my heart. The love that I have seen, true patriots that can see, justice has not been carried out for me and my loved ones. They're willing to go out of their way, which is huge. It is so appreciated. Just the fact that they will push that share button or spend their day making videos, sharing my books, sharing my story. It really means a lot. And I hope it gets bigger. I hope it grows. I always want to tell thank you to everybody that has helped me. The lions, I call them lions because they go out of their way to help and help others and help share the story. But I can never thank them enough. I really can't, because I can't get this story out by myself. There's no way. It's all the good hearted, kind people that are willing to go out of their way to help. It's gonna get us all justice. Jackie, that I was just talking about, Jackie Goldman, helped me write this. This is called Stolen Identity: Unveiling the Real John Kennedy Jr. by John Kennedy Jr. It's my hope. One of my visions is to see everybody have access to what's in this book, what they actually did to the son of a president, what they are doing in power, because what's in this book doesn't go along what people have learned, even in the schools in history. They have put so much fraud out there, so much deception out there of what really happened. And this book exposes it all. It changes history. I thank everybody. The reviews on Amazon are absolutely wonderful. There's not many because not a whole lot of people have heard about this book yet. So it would be awesome if we could get this out where people could read it and, use their own judgment. I am so very truthful on what's in this book. And like I said, it puts my life in danger. And I think the more people that know the story makes me safer. And this book right here, it just came out a month ago, The Historian's Tale: The Amazing Return of President Kennedy's Son. And this was written by Mary Maxwell, a wonderful lady with a heart of gold. This is actually on Lulu, but it just came out, and it's a good read. It is. Right now, my whole life revolves around trying to get my truth out. I do have things that I've never had my whole life. I met Robin, and my life has turned around. I have a nice truck and trailer and a motorbike. I don't have time to spend with those things, the material things like that. It's all about trying to get the truth out, doing videos, making stories, sharing, talking with people, trying to figure out what their next move will be. I have so many plans on trying to help make this world a better place. I'm sure I need a break every now and again, just because it's really mentally exhausting sharing my story over and over and over again. So yeah, a ride on the Harley, even if it's for 5 or 10 minutes, just even if it's around the block, helps clear my head. Something about being in the wind and forgetting all the problems and all the evils of this world, and just letting them blow right by, where I can start again. It clears my head, where I can share that story for the thousandth time or 10,000th time. My big goal, my dreams, my wishes are that this story gets out to each and everyone around the world, not the lies that everybody's been told, but the truth of what really going on at the top, the rulers of the world and what they do at the top to keep us in chains, keep us in bondage, control us. They're so powerful of what they can do with us as human beings. We all need to wake up to their game plan. I'm trying to expose their game plan. It means more than life to me to expose what they can do, what they are doing to us, more than life itself. And that's my dream. That's my wishes. That's in my prayers, that we expose the corruption, the evil. I can't let the victims and my family members that have suffered from all the injustice, and there's so much of it, the world really needs to know. It keeps me going. Sometimes I don't want to keep going, and I just remember I have to. It's something I have to do in this lifetime before I leave this planet, this world.
I want to express my thanks to all of you. I admire what you're doing. And even more important, I'm very grateful to all of you.
Thank you, Lions. Thank you, Kia, for sharing that.
Are so welcome. That just moved me to tears. I want to read that scripture because I don't know, it choked me up, John. It just reminds me of how God has kept you through all you've been through. The scripture is from Joshua 1:9. It says, "Have not I commanded thee? Be strong and of a good courage. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed. For the Lord thy God is with thee whithersoever thou goest." And I know that to be truth, because if it were not true, John wouldn't be here today. We know God has kept him and enabled him to share his story with us today so that we can wake up and see how enslaved we've been as a people and as a planet. Thank you, John, for sharing your story. Thank you for your courage. Thank you so much for your love for the people of God. You know, because you could just say, I don't want to tell anybody. I've been through too much. I don't want to share my story. I don't want to give anybody hope. I mean, you could just go away, but you didn't. So thank you.
I could crawl into a cave like I felt like I wanted to do my whole entire life, just so I wouldn't have to see anybody or talk or, you know, be harmed or hurt anymore. But that's not the answer. And there was a comment on here. Well, if I'm the real John F. Kennedy Jr., why hasn't somebody taken me out yet? To answer that, I walk with God, and I got friends, and my friends know how to dig a hole just like they do. So when harm comes to me, people don't usually live to, it's just how it works.
That's right. That's right. I'm so grateful for your friends. I'm grateful for the Hell's Angels too, who protected you throughout your life. I believe you said your mom secured them to help protect you when you were small or when you were younger.
Yeah, the Hell's Angels did protect me when I was young, and some of them lost their lives protecting the son of our former president. So special thanks to the Hell's Angels, the organization, for helping keeping me alive during those times where things were really bad.
Yes, thank you, Hell's Angels. And we know that the deep state, the cabal, the mainstream media, and the government will try to make people like the Hells Angels look bad, because they are outlaws. They live outside of the realm of the cabal. They live their own lives. They live in the private sector. So we're very grateful.
I believe people like Bill Clinton were trying to have me killed. You know, they were best friends with the body double that stole my identity. And they declared the Hells Angels a criminal organization. You know, there's good and bad in everybody in the world, in all groups. But, you know, our government declared them as criminals while they were trying to protect and save me from the real criminals within our government. So, yeah, I hold a special place in my heart for my brothers that made me part of their family when my family was all unalived and everything. And I wear this ring all the time. I'm very proud of that. And that's the Hells Angel symbol right there.
Okay. Wow.
And that's to show my respect for what they did for me.
So many people in the chat are saying thank you, John. They appreciate you. They love you. They're saying this is very emotional, just hearing your story. People are saying that your story changed their lives. Wow. Wow, this is so beautiful.
I would like to answer this one. Frank Glover, why do you interview this guy when he is a Trump hater? Frank, I don't hate Trump. I'm just telling the truth of how the cabal works. And I'm sharing my personal experiences of what I've been through. I try not to hate anybody. Life is what it is. There's criminals running our country. And Kia's interviewing me because she wants the truth. She's a good friend.
Thank you.
I love her to death.
Thank you. Love you too.
Kia's awesome. So I hope that answers your question. Just because you disagree on one thing doesn't mean, you have to. Oh, this guy Frank, he's a real Trumper. My cousin Donald Trump is not the cabal, Frank. There you go. I hope that makes you feel better.
So, what you guys have to understand now, see, you guys, a lot of us can receive that Biden has many body doubles, that somebody's wearing a Biden mask. I don't understand why we can't accept that Trump can have been unalived, and maybe there's somebody posing as him. We've seen tall Trumps, shorter ones, fat ones. We've heard Dick Gregory, who was a comedian who actually ran for the presidency in the 90s, and he won, but he told us that they rigged the elections. He was a black guy, a comedian. He said there are two Trumps. He said it.
I think there's 4 or 5 or 6 actually, but
yeah, right. It's probably more. I agree with you. Then you have Ben Carson, who worked for the Urban Housing and Development League, but he allegedly wrote the book Gifted Hands. He's the doctor that did the so-called brain surgery. I don't know if any of this is true, but he said there are 2 Trumps, a red tie Trump and a blue tie Trump. We've had people.
Yeah, I saw that too.
And people in the music industry talked about clones openly. They showed cloning labs. So I'm open to the truth, because let me be honest. A long time ago, I heard that there were a lot of people that did not like the so-called real Donald Trump. I heard that a long time ago because of some of the things he was allegedly involved in. And before I got into this movie, I was told that this person, whoever this Trump guy is, was forced by some people in power to do the things that he's doing now. And so they said, some things that I see look good. John knows how I say Trump is being used for good. So I was told that Donald Trump, or whoever's playing Donald Trump, was forced by the military and some people hired up to take down the deep state. And I was also told a long time ago that the real Donald Trump died in 1989. So when I heard JFK Jr. say that, it wasn't news to me. I heard Benjamin Forford say that. I've heard journalists say that in 1989, we all know it was a plane crash, So it's not hard for me to believe that the real one died and somebody's replacing him. It's not hard for me to believe that it's an avatar or somebody wearing a mask. Because at the end of the day, you and I shouldn't be looking to anybody to save us. The Bible says, The Bible says, save yourself from this wicked generation. The King James Version said, save yourself from this untoward generation. So people tell me all the time, there's no savior but Jesus Christ. Then why does your Bible say save yourself? So I appreciate what I see the good guys doing, or military, or whoever I think is doing things. But at the end of the day, I'm saving myself. Learning how to grow my own food, learning how to barter, learning how to save, learning how to get precious metals, learning how to align myself with good people like John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr., his companion Robin, Ron Anthony, Ghost Star Mother Susan Price, Elizabeth, Princess Elizabeth, like just aligning myself with good people, because if it's all a lie, I'm going to be all right, John, because I'm saving myself.
That's right. And where I'm coming from is I'm not a Donald Trump hater. I'm not a Biden hater. I'm sharing the story. You know, you talk to people on the street and they say, yeah, our government's corrupt. Mm-hmm. Everybody you talk to says, yeah, our government is corrupt. Mm-hmm. Well, hello, they're all corrupt. Mm-hmm. I don't care if they put Biden in. I don't care if they put Trump in. They're all corrupt. They're all part of the cabal. And, you know, when Trump term is over, guess what? We're still going to have the homeless. We're still going to have people losing their homes. We're still going to have high inflation. You're still going to be spending your whole paycheck at the grocery store to feed your kids. Nothing's going to change, except he's going to still be flying that great big jet plane around, and he's still going to be drinking his champagne and eating his caviar, even though he is just a Hollywood actor.
And they're all actors. Somebody said, well, what about your dad? Was he cabal?
I imagine. He was being told what to do. We were all being told what to do. The whole thing was a photo op, all the way to my salute. This is me here. Somebody sent me this little doll the other day.
Greetings, Chief Mac, in the chat. Good to see you. Oh wow, that's you doing a salute.
Yeah. Somebody gifted me that. These are like $250 on eBay. So that was a wonderful gift from somebody. I wanted one. I just couldn't afford it to buy a little doll for myself. But yeah, that was a photo op. It was all photo op. So was my father part of that cabal? I would have to say yes. He was probably part of the same thing. They were building my father up. They built him up in the war. You know, even me when I was a kid drinking a Coca-Cola, that was a photo op to sell Cokes to the world. How many Cokes you think I sold for Coca-Cola, drinking that Coke at a young age? Probably millions of Cokes, probably. So with that said, close your ears, Kia.
Okay.
When you see Donald Trump doing this, and it makes world news right before the election, and going like this. I was a Secret Service agent. I was taught by our Black Ops Special Forces to do many things. One of them was presidential detail. What you are taught when you protect the President of the United States as a Secret Service agent, you are spit. Your life does not matter. That's what they tell you. You are trained to jump in front of the President of the United States, whoever he is at the time, and take your life if possible for that man. So when there's an active shooter, you would have never seen President Trump ever again. I
know that.
They would have drugged him off stage, but you had the Secret Service holding him up to do a photo op. Just like my little salute right here, it was a photo op. So I can guarantee you 100%, Hollywood working with the Secret Service, that big photo op, Donald Trump did that day, and he was on every news channel across the world. Every single one. Our media is bought, is paid for. That was planned. It was a planned.
I agree with you. I agree. And you know, this whole thing is power to the people, Black power. And I was like, this is all acting. It's all theater. I know you're telling the truth, John.
But the thing is, the sad part is the cabal. They don't care about unaliving people. The people that were there that day, the shooter, and it was probably all real. Those people probably lost their lives that day for real. Really? Just like my sister lost her life My mother was lying in a puddle of blood. I watched her shot 3 times. It's so real, but they don't have any remorse. It's all for their plan. Their plan was to build Donald Trump up. I don't remember if that was like weeks before the election or what, but it was the plan. It's all planned by the cabal, the people that run our government. There's no savior, people. Listen to the people. Our government is corrupt. We need to change it for we the people. Our forefathers gave us that right. The founding fathers, they put in the Constitution, hey, there's corrupt shit that goes on and we can fix it, but we got to do it at the grass. So they put that and gave us the ability to do that. But we're just sitting back saying, I don't get into politics. I don't really care. Let them do what they want. But when, the shit really comes down, we're going to be the ones paying for it.
John Rochelle said, Trump has said many times he is central casting. Wow. They tell you, don't they?
Well, you do remember when Donald Trump became a Hollywood, got his foot into Hollywood and started doing the, you're fired. And I don't remember the name of the show. Yeah, they were training him to be the Hollywood actor that he is to this day.
Lonnie says, I think that's one of the lions. Larnie says,
oh, yeah.
Your resilience, John, and vision inspires me daily. The path you've walked, the battles you fought in silence, and the love you carry for humanity are not unseen. We see you.
I love my lions. I really, really do. Like I said, I can't get the story. They're too big. The cabal is too big to get this story out. And if it does get out, well, I shouldn't say if, it is going to get out.
Getting out.
Especially with this document. I wish I could say that word. But yeah, yeah. It's because of all these wonderful people on your chat right now, making comments and helping get it out. Even the haters, they're helping in their own way. They might not know it, but it gives us fuel for the fire to keep going.
Yes, because and like you said, it's up to we the people. So, I might support things that I think are good and for the good of the people, but I always say, save yourself. This is why I give the news about gold, silver, growing your own food, aligning with your family, getting your family back in order, get your house in order, pull your resources together. Why can't we all, like your family, all get under one roof and pay that mortgage or pay the rent? Like if you all put your resources together, you'll be able to go further. Buy land, cattle, silver, and gold. Those things are what the Bible classify as wealth. But family, people, bartering. If you do this, those people that's on the world stage, they can do whatever. And you could do what the 10th Amendment for the Constitution tells us we could do. Operate at the state level, because the state and community have more power than the federal government. So save yourself from this wicked generation, family. Let's stop always looking to somebody else to save us when we have the power within ourselves to grow our own food.
Amen to that.
To establish community like we're doing right here.
I was told family is everything, people. So, now in this crazy time, stay close with your family. Look, tell your family members you love them. There's a lot of bickering and fighting I see going all the time with family members, but you really need, family is everything, especially, when times get rough.
So, John, we have been on just a little over an hour and a half. I don't want to keep you too long, but I thank you so much for always giving me the opportunity to have you on my show, to interview you. And thank you for blessing me. You sent me books. You sent me a penchant. You sent me Cash App blessings. You sent me thoughts, you and Robin, to let me know that you care about me and you love me. And I'm so grateful.
We do love you, Kia. You should be an internet star. You probably would be if they didn't hinder you, but we love you so much. You bring me on your show. Sure, we have a couple little differences, but it's all good,
Yes, sir.
We get through it. It's all love. So thank you so much.
You're welcome, John. So I want to put up your Cash App one more time, because some people would like to contribute to your work. And it is $Quiet Journey, correct?
Yeah.
$1, excuse me. $1 Quiet Journey. That's where you can send a Cash App blessing. And if Robin, if you're in the chat, can you send the post office information if somebody want to send a check or a gift to the post office box where you guys are? This is the place you can send them a Cash App. I'm going to show a couple screens. You can go to the Quiet Journey, thequietjourneytv.com. No, wait a minute. What is it? Thequietjourney.tv. Thequietjourney.tv. All this is in the description section on the YouTube channel and Rumble. Go to that to see his apparel. He got, what's this? T-shirts, hoodies, his books. You can donate. $Quiet Journey. And the movie here, the documentary. That's where you can find the Quiet Journey. Let me get out of here. Also, if you want to support John on his personal website, let's see where that is. I think this is the real. This is the real
John Kennedy. Yeah.
The real John F. Kennedy Jr. His books are there. I'm putting everything in the chat for you guys, and it's also in the description section as well. He's got a gallery of pictures here, a timeline of events about this website and where you can shop and donate. So I'll put that in the chat for you.
And your love blessings are so very much appreciated. And if you have it in your heart and in your wallet, please share with Dr. Kia for spending her time and sharing. She so deserves it. She really does.
Thank you.
And I gotta check my Cash App too, so I can send her a little love if I.
You're so kind.
Something, because it's a lot of work and things putting these things together.
Yes,
and
sir.
We love Dr. Kia, so just please share some love with her.
Thank you, John. You can follow him. This is his government name that they gave him, David Quigley. He's on Facebook as David Quigley. There's so many people that's masquerading as John Kennedy on social media. So you can follow him here, David Quigley. Here's a picture of his dad, and this is him. I don't know. That might be Secret Service. I'm not sure. But that's this cover photo. And I'll put this in the chat for you guys as well. He's been banned so many times on social media and TikTok, but he keeps persevering. Oh, and one last thing I want to show John's YouTube channel. He goes live many times on YouTube, pretty often. John,
yeah, a lot of good videos right there on YouTube.
John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr. is his name. Sue Greenwald is a good friend of his. How often are you on her show?
About once a week.
Okay.
Yeah, we usually chat once a week, and nothing scripted. We just come on and say hello and start talking about this and that, and basically, though, we just bash the government.
Right, because they show, when you think of government, the word means to manage the mind, govern, manage, control, meant the mind, so they let us know what they're doing. Thank you so much, Chief Mac. Chief Mac just sent me a Cash App blessing. He sent me $100. We love you, Chief Mac.
Oh, how beautiful.
You. That was so sweet. Anybody that would like to donate to the Dr. Kia Pruitt Show, you can send a Cash App blessing to $Mama Kia 13. That's $MAMAKIA 13. And I greatly appreciate it. But for now, we're talking about John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr. And we'd love for you to please send him a blessing to $1 Quiet Journey. $1 Quiet Journey. Any final closing words, John, before we get out?
I love you. I love the Lions. I thank you all so much. They don't want this story out, but with your help, we're going to get justice. We're going to get so much justice. an acknowledgement that is way past due. It's way past due. It really is. But thank you all so very much. Kia, we love you so much. You're always so joyful, and yeah.
Thank you, John. Thank you, John. The people want to know before we go out. Oops. You know, we support. We support the good that's we think is happening behind the scenes. I'm sorry, my phone is ringing off the hook. What can you give us some encouragement on the way out? I'm sorry, I'm looking for my phone. My family's trying to get me. Oh, any encouraging words going out, John?
Never give up, never surrender. Keep pushing forward, and just do what you believe is right in your heart, and trust in God. But remember, God's not going to do it all by himself, because faith without works is dead. So let's work with God. Let's help God, and let's march forward for a better humanity.
Amen. Well, having said that, family, we are so grateful that you joined us this evening. There's something else you could have been doing with your time, but you love us enough to be here. We appreciate you respecting John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr. He's a good friend of mine, and he's a good friend of the show. He's a good friend of the Lions and people here. So thank you for being respectful. To send him a blessing again, send it to $1 Quiet Journey. And I hope Robin put it in the chat again. I think she did somewhere earlier how you can send a check or send a gift to John through the, do I see it? Yes, here it is. Thank you, Rockin' Robin. Oh, that's Brenda Scott Price. Please contribute to John by sending checks or money order to David Quigley, Post Office Box 21552, Bullhead City, Arizona 86439, USA.
Bless you, Brenda. Brenda Scott, I believe, has made 30 TikTok accounts. She has been knocked down 29 times for holding this up, and she keeps coming back to hold it up again. Wonderful gal. So appreciated, Brenda. But quit getting kicked off. All love, all you Lions.
Thank you all so much for your time. Have a very good evening. You've met and seen the real John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr., the son of former President John Kennedy Jr. He's released the files that they don't want you to see. He's shown you his documentary, and you can go watch that at thequietjourney.tv. All of his links are in the description section of my YouTube channel and my Rumble channel. This is John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr. I'm Dr. Kia Pruitt. Rockin' Robin is in the chat. That's his companion. The Lions are roaring in the chat. We love you, family. My name is Dr. Kia Pruitt. I trust we've said something to raise your vibrations and inspire you to create the most amazing, magnificent life that you desire and deserve. Good night, Lions. We love you, and we love you, Soul Tribe. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sister.
You're welcome, darling. Thank you for being here. Bye-bye.